Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
We're kind of starting from zero again. Now we have to reawaken the space.
Back to the drawing board as the construction site for the new Vancouver Art Gallery is repaved and turned back into a parking lot. Plus,
we're not the only ones wondering, where is the province? Where is the federal government?
Filipino BC calls for more support and funding for victims of the Lapu-Lapu Day Festival attack. And
I find it to be a bit inconvenient.
Whatever the farmers think is what's going to work best, that's what my opinion is basically.
It's been a long-running debate in BC. Should Canada stop changing our clocks twice a year?
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Janella Hamilton. Thanks for joining us. It was to transform from a parking lot into a gleaming new home for the Vancouver Art Gallery's collection. But what was a hole in the ground is now being transformed back into a parking lot. The city says it's a temporary measure as the art gallery goes back to the drawing board with new architects. As Michelle Gasoup reports, it's an unexpected and expensive detour.
$60 million has been spent for the site of the new Vancouver Art Gallery to look like this. So how did we get here? Over 20 years ago, it was decided the art gallery needed more room and therefore a new site. In 2013, Vancouver City Council picked this location at West Georgia and Cambie. A Swiss architecture firm was selected to design it, and these flashy renderings were released. They broke ground on the project in March of 2024, but by August, the cost ballooned by 50% to $600 million. Construction stalled, and in December, citing out-of-control costs, that plan was scrapped entirely and the Swiss architects removed. Now, the city and the art gallery confirm the site will be a parking lot run by Easy Park, saying this arrangement is an interim measure only.
It just kind of leaves you wondering, how will the momentum continue? Yeah, especially when we kind of see the physicality of it being repaved after it was awoken.
The art gallery has since hired 2 Canadian architecture firms, saying the new design will be smaller and not as tall. There's currently no timeline on when construction could start again, but renderings are expected in 2026.
We're kind of starting from zero again. It's like now we have to reawaken the space, and new designs, have to be created and approved. And in that time, will costs continue to increase?
$60 million have been spent on planning and pre-construction. The art gallery says, despite the setbacks, donations totaling $140 million for a new design are still in place. And in the meantime, if you're looking for parking downtown, spots at Georgia and Cambie may soon be available. With $60 million already spent, raises the question, is this the most expensive parking lot ever built? Michelle Gasoup, CBC News, Vancouver.
The fall back to standard time is fast approaching for most parts of the province, and that's once again renewing the debate about doing away with the twice-a-year time change. Michelle Morton reports.
It's an effort to end the twice-a-year switch, moving our clocks backwards and forward in an attempt to keep daylight during waking hours. But if we do move to one time, which should it be? Standard time or daylight saving? This UBC professor says standard is best, as it's better for people mentally and physically.
Our body clocks, which regulate many of our daily hormone and other rhythms, is aligned to the sunrise.
He argues permanent daylight time would make us more tired during the day. At the height of winter, the sun would not rise until after 9 a.m.
It makes us more tired during the day because our rhythms aren't aligned correctly with the natural environment.
The efforts to abandon the twice-annual time change are led by Liberal MP Marie-France Lalonde, who said the clock flip is unnecessary. On the streets, Many seem to agree it's time to ditch the switch.
I find it to be a bit inconvenient, always having to switch the clock, either going forward or backwards.
I do believe that whatever the farmers think is what's going to work best. That's what my opinion is basically.
I feel like if we didn't have it, it wouldn't be that big of a change.
It's been several years since the province passed legislation to shift to permanent daylight time, and the Premier previously said the change would not happen until BC's American neighbors did the same. But after the U.S. imposed tariffs on Canadian goods, he said he's reconsidering it. Some economics experts say the decision should not be based on who is in the White House.
If most people feel that staying on year-round daylight saving time is what they prefer, we maybe should go with that. And the trade issues are becoming less important.
The province says it's awaiting the vote on the time change bill in Ottawa before deciding on next steps. Michelle Morton, CBC News, Vancouver.
The Nanaimo Ladysmith School District is calling for the construction of a new secondary school in Nanaimo, warning the oldest and largest high school in the area is over capacity and falling apart. As Claire Palmer reports, municipalities are voicing concerns about the state of the school.
Over 1,600 students walk the narrow halls of Nanaimo District Secondary School. Constructed in 1952 with a capacity of 1,400 students, the school board says it's time for a new building.
It's served tens of thousands of students at this point, and it really has reached the end of its life. All the systems, all the envelope and everything, each part of the school, there isn't really a point in investing more in it because everything needs to be replaced.
School enrollment in Nanaimo is on the rise. At the elementary level, the board was able to allocate the vacant Rutherford School, but no such luck at the secondary level, with high schools at capacity and enrollment projected to keep going up.
There's lots of times where, you go into the hallways and you can't move because it's so overcrowded.
Teachers say the outdated school is making it hard to teach.
Kids from all over town come here, like from Lanceville to Ladysmith, from Gabriola. We have French immersion programs at all these sports academies. So it's a really good representation of our community. But the building is in a state of disrepair, and it's 70 plus years old now, and it doesn't feel good.
This summer, the school district requested that local municipalities send letters in support of including a new build in next year's provincial budget. The Ministry of Infrastructure says it will consider the district's submission, but acknowledges it's also fielding requests from the other 59 public boards of education.
We're hopeful that it's seen as a worthwhile investment and to see it included in the next budget. But we do recognize that these are challenging fiscal times, but this school can't last much longer, and it's not an ideal learning space or for our students.
A new build would be located on the same site as the current secondary school. Claire Palmer, CBC News, Nanaimo.
The future of transit service in Surrey was at the center of discussion at yesterday's annual State of Newton event. As Sarab Sandhu reports, it comes at a time when demand for public transit south of the Fraser is growing.
Newton, the most populous neighborhood of Surrey, the fastest growing city in the province. With Surrey's population projected to cross the 1 million mark by 2046, the city's transit infrastructure is coming under scrutiny.
I think they need a few more frequent buses, especially up in this area. We have so many people taking the bus. It's crazy.
There's not enough room on the buses at all. There's so many times where I have to squeeze, or there's not even enough spaces for enough strollers for people who come with children.
TransLink says they are also seeing a rapid increase in demand in Newton, which they say is one of the busiest transit hubs in the city.
We've seen ridership at the Newton Exchange double just over the last year alone.
The city's future plans for Newton include a brand new community centre at the projected cost of more than $300 million. The centre will have a swimming pool, fitness centres, art spaces and a library.
Over a third of our businesses are located right here in Newton. It's a very, very important, dynamic, and busy part of the city.
Last month, Surrey City Council moved a step closer to approving designs for bus rapid transit on King George Boulevard. TransLink says it would lead to better connections for riders between the SkyTrain and the Newton Bus Exchange.
Bus rapid transit is another opportunity to invest in a high-quality rapid transit that's going to really help residents of Newton. We're committed to that.
Quinn says they're also planning for a new bus route along 68th Avenue to boost east-west connectivity.
It's been really fascinating post-pandemic seeing how travel patterns have changed throughout the region. One of those changes that we have seen is that increase in east-west trips that people are making.
TransLink says some revenues will go back into the community for funding road infrastructure, like the 72nd Avenue expansion, aimed at reducing traffic congestion and travel times.
I can tell you Surrey is a car-dependent community, and so road networks like this are critical.
Locke says with a diverse growing population, Newton remains central to the city's infrastructure plans. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Surrey.
Today wraps up 3 days at the Electric Mobility Canada National Conference, where researchers and industry leaders have been showing off what's next in battery technology. Our Johanna Wagstaff takes us inside the push for stronger, lighter, and safer batteries and what that could mean for Canada's electric future.
Everyone's talking about electric cars, but if Canada wants to go fully electric, we got to talk about the giants of the road, the big rigs, the buses, the trucks. The key to going fully electric? Batteries. Batteries that go farther, weigh less, and perform in the cold. Stronger, lighter, safer. Right now, the entire EV world is built on lithium-ion batteries. They've been good enough for cars, but for the big haulers, they just don't have the range, especially in cold Canadian winters. Add more power, they just get heavier, too heavy for real performance. And that's why the battery science itself has become the bottleneck. That's why we're here at one of Canada's biggest EV conferences, where industry leaders are showing off what the next generation of batteries could look like. One of the biggest breakthroughs is solid-state batteries, which swap liquid electrolytes for ceramics.
That's really where you get the weight benefit from. It lightens up because it's much more dense. It's going to be expensive. So unfortunately, the long-haul market that wants it or needs it won't be able to access it because cost is a big factor for that market.
And then there's safety. Current lithium batteries carry fire risks, especially under heavy loads. Canadian engineers are working on new cooling systems like partial immersion designs that stop fire before they spread.
We are hearing a lot about new generation battery cells, but when you have a cell, you need to package it and you need to have the full system around it to be able to use it in a vehicle.
So we have the solutions, but the price tag keeps getting in the way. Here's the reality. Stronger, lighter, safer batteries will first show up in niche markets, high-performance vehicles, racing, even defense, before trickling into freight. Globally, China is leading the charge, but Canadian researchers are carving out a role too. They have to. Road transportation makes up about 23% of Canada's emissions, and most of that comes from commercial vehicles. If Canada wants to be fully electric, it won't be decided in the driveways. It will be decided on the highways, with stronger, lighter, safer, and cheaper batteries.
Darius Madavi joins us now with a first look at our weekend weather. Darius?
Well, we've had some rain coming up on parts of Vancouver Island. I say rain, really just some light showers. Those are going to continue to move off, and really over the next few days, all we're doing is lightening up. Now, there's not really much rain in the forecast for southern BC. Hopefully, that doesn't mean we see a fire danger climb, but I think we're at a place now where we probably will get rain again before we see this climb up anywhere above green, so low fire danger. With that being said, though, again, for the next few days, don't expect to see much of any precipitation. We might have a drizzle on parts of the south coast tomorrow, early tomorrow morning, maybe into mid-morning, and then we'll start to see lightening up through the day. And then Sunday is pretty much sunny across the board in southwest BC. Temperatures are also going to be climbing over the next couple days, mostly for inland areas. I mean, we might come up a degree in Vancouver, but Abbotsford probably hitting 20 by early next week. And that's really all we got. Watching the mornings, nothing happening.
Yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag forecast there. Thanks so much, Darius.
Thank you.
Is there life on other planets? Coming up, NASA scientists may have found some proof that life beyond Earth exists. It's a mystery that has fascinated astronomers for years. Are we alone in the universe? It's not an easy question, but NASA scientists think we're closer than ever to an answer. Our science and climate specialist Darius Madavi breaks it down for us.
If you have any interest in space, you probably heard this news.
A year ago, we thought we found what we believe to be signs of microbial life on the Mars surface.
Just so we're clear, that was the head of NASA saying their rover found evidence of ancient, alien, Martian life. And this all comes back to this rock that has NASA saying,
this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars.
This is Sapphire Canyon. That's the name of the 25th sample collected by NASA's Perseverance rover. And it has scientists pretty excited.
What we're describing here is a potential biosignature.
Potential biosignature? That is NASA speak for, oh my God, we might have found proof of life on Mars. Now, does that mean they're confirming the existence of alien life? Not quite yet.
It might have a biological origin, but requires more data or further study before reaching a conclusion about the presence or absence of life.
Again, this all starts with the Perseverance rover, Percy for short, which landed on Mars in 2021, right here in Vézero crater. Since then, it's been trundling around, collecting samples and data, and, of course, taking selfies. Now, in July 2024, Percy visited the mouth of an ancient river valley and discovered a very special rock.
This is unique. It's unlike anything else that we have seen before here or anywhere else.
That's Chris Hurd, a sample shepherd for the Perseverance mission. See, Percy only has 38 sample tubes, but Mars has a lot of rocks. So Hurd helps decide which ones make the cut.
As soon as we saw the detailed images of the rock, we knew that we had to collect this sample.
It's easy to see what he's talking about. Researchers have nicknamed these features leopard spots and poppy seeds, and they might look kind of familiar.
Walking along the shore of Prince Edward Island, the rocks are really red there, and every now and then you come across this sort of greenish gray spot inside the rock. Well, that's where an organism has died.
This is something we see all over the Earth, but never before on Mars. NASA scientists spent a year looking for reasons that this isn't a sign of life, trying to come up with other ways to explain it. But their tests found organic matter, meaning molecules that contain carbon, not necessarily biological matter, and two minerals that here on Earth are known to be created by or around life. And so far, the alternate explanations, heat, acidity, organic catalysts, they don't seem very likely.
You kind of say, well, maybe it was this, unique combination of things that produced these particular features, when in fact maybe the simplest solution, and that's a big maybe, but maybe the simplest thing is some kind of life providing the mechanism for the reaction to take place.
So what's next? Will NASA ever come out and say, yes, for sure, there was life on Mars?
The punchline of the paper is that you really need to get this back in order to say for certain whether this potential biosignature is an actual biosignature.
See, here on Earth, we could run tests that Percy just can't. And if we find out in the end that it wasn't life after all, was the mission a failure? Well, no.
If it's all done without life, that's kind of mind-blowing to a planetary geologist like me.
Now, at the moment, no mission is planned to retrieve the samples and bring them back to Earth. So we won't know for at least a decade. But in the meantime, well, a big maybe is the closest we've ever gotten. Darius Madavi, CBC News, Vancouver.
The tide rising mid-afternoon in Comox today. A murky day mid-island with a mixed bag weekend ahead. Darius has your provincial forecast next.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
Advocacy group Filipino BC is calling on all levels of government to commit funding for support services for victims of the Lapu-Lapu Day tragedy, as some victims continue to struggle financially and are having issues accessing culturally appropriate health supports.
How there isn't a coordinated response across all levels of government 5 months, since this occurred, I think we're not the only ones wondering, where is the province? Where is the federal government? Where is the city of Vancouver?
Christiane Watkins and her 11-year-old son were injured at the festival. She says a lawyer appointed to her case helped, but others who lack the same level of English need someone to coordinate assistance.
Even like a specific team, because there is a lot of victims out there that had all of the proper information that we needed. It would have made an already stressful and traumatic experience maybe a little less so.
In a statement, the City of Vancouver says while it coordinated the immediate response, longer-term health and financial support rests with the federal government. Hamas said in a statement it's willing to return all Israeli hostages, living or dead, as part of U.S. President Donald Trump's proposed Gaza plan. As the CBC's Paul Hunter reports, the group also signaled it was ready to enter mediated negotiations to discuss the details.
With countless Gazans in abject misery, the remaining Israeli hostages hidden by Hamas out there somewhere, and as Israel continued its assault on Hamas in Gaza, a potential breakthrough, finally. In a statement from Hamas, agreement to immediately begin talks toward the release of all hostages, alive and dead, though it also underlined a number of apparent disagreements with the U.S. peace plan put before it, but said it was ready to negotiate on the details.
This is a big day. We'll see how it all turns out. We have to get the final word down in concrete.
From U.S. President Trump, a clear signal he interprets Hamas's statement as a giant positive, posting on his Truth Social platform, "I believe they are ready for a lasting peace. Israel must immediately stop the bombing of Gaza so that we can get the hostages out safely and quickly," adding, "We are already in discussions on details to be worked out. This is not about Gaza alone," he writes. "This is about long-sought peace in the Middle East." But Trump's remarkable demand that Israel now stop bombing Gaza reportedly caught Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by surprise. He's said to have seen the Hamas statement as a rejection of the U.S. peace plan. Netanyahu has faced growing pressure in Israel to end the war, but his coalition government is backed by right-wing parties who want no part of any compromise with Hamas. And yet, it's equally clear Donald Trump is intent on pushing for a way to end the war, and quickly.
Everybody was unified in wanting this war to end and seeing peace in the Middle East, and we're very close to achieving that. Thank you all, and everybody will be treated fairly.
Say some. If somehow steps are now taken, maybe indeed it grows from there.
If we pass the 72 hours, then we can actually reach a good next step. But if we don't, then it's going to be, more hell, more war.
That's the Paul Hunter reporting. The U.S. federal government shutdown will continue through to Monday, the latest attempt at a resolution, which was drawn up by Republican lawmakers, failed to gain the required 60 votes in the Senate. Tony Waterman has the details.
Any sliver of hope that this shutdown would be short-lived were dashed on Friday. As expected, both of these dueling funding bills failed to pass the Senate, and with Republicans dismissed for the weekend, this shutdown will now stretch into next week with very few signs of any meaningful progress. Republicans are really pushing for a 7-week funding extension, saying this will offer plenty of time to negotiate with Democrats on health care, but Dems are worried about a bait and switch, agreeing to reopen the government only for Republicans to allow those health care subsidies to expire. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of federal workers are at home without pay or have been working without pay with the prospect of losing their jobs completely. President Trump says this shutdown is an unprecedented opportunity to shrink the federal government, to lay people off permanently, something that is completely unprecedented during a government shutdown. He even posted a video of his budget chief, Russ Vought, as the Grim Reaper, seemingly going after government employees. Now, some people around the president are trying to downplay this. We heard from the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, earlier on Friday, saying that no one, including Trump, is enjoying this, calling it an unenviable task. Perhaps that is a signal that Republicans are somewhat concerned this could backfire on them, especially if thousands of federal workers are let go, something that President Trump has been trying to do since he returned to the White House in January. This is ultimately, though, a battle for public opinion. That is what is going to decide which side caves first. So even with lawmakers having gone home, we can expect to hear a lot from them this weekend. Tony Waterman for CBC News, Washington.
Prime Minister Mark Carney and Donald Trump will meet in person next week. Kate McKenna looks at what may be on the agenda.
Mark Carney is going back for round two. His office confirmed a meeting with President Donald Trump next Tuesday.
It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Mark Carney with us.
It'll mark his first visit to the White House since his trip to the Oval Office last May.
With Donald Trump, you really never know, do you? I mean, the Prime Minister is heading once more into the lion's den to have a conversation.
The Prime Minister is already in a pressure cooker.
Where's the win?
The opposition is pushing for results, a new trade deal the Prime Minister promised, and reprieve from biting tariffs on the steel, aluminum, auto, and lumber sectors.
Since Mr. Carney took office promising to be a brilliant negotiator, American tariffs on Canada have more than doubled, and they have much broadened.
And Trump made yet another quip this week about annexing Canada, while telling American military officials Canada wants to be part of a missile defense system.
To which I said, well, why don't you just join our country? You become 51, become the 51st state, and you get it for free.
The Prime Minister's office says this visit will focus on shared priorities in a new economic and security relationship between Canada and the U.S. Canada's point person on U.S. trade says he's optimistic some sort of agreement can still be reached.
I have lost the illusion that we should predict in precise time when we might get to an agreement. An agreement can take many different forms. My view is an agreement is something that would improve the circumstance that we're in today.
Despite the ups and downs, Mark Carney has maintained a relationship with Trump, texting and meeting at international summits.
It's clearly a good thing that Mark Carney and Donald Trump seem to have a good working relationship, and the tone between them is constructive, positive, and respectful. But I would say that only goes so far, because Donald Trump believes in what he believes in.
And if there's one thing Donald Trump has made clear he believes in, it's tariffs. So far, Mark Carney hasn't been able to change the president's mind on that. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. The hip-hop mogul was convicted on 2 prostitution-related charges in July. Combs has already served a year behind bars, so that means he will be released in about 3 years. Chris Reyes has the latest from outside the courtroom in New York.
Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced to 50 months in prison after he was found guilty of prostitution charges in connection to drug-fueled sex parties with his ex-girlfriends. He was acquitted in July of more serious charges involving sex trafficking and racketeering. Just before he was sentenced, Combs gave an emotional statement. The first time he spoke in court, Combs apologized to the women he abused, to his children, to his mother, and to those in his community. He called his actions disgusting, despicable, shameful, and sick. He said he got lost in his journey and he begged the judge for mercy. In his sentencing, the judge said he considered Combs' long list of accomplishments and acknowledged that he was an iconic figure in his industry. He also said that his work with fellow inmates during his time in prison was impressive. But the judge also said that the court had to consider the massive amount of evidence presented during the 8-week trial that detailed the abuse in his relationships, including the savage beating of his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. The judge also said that he felt it was important to send a message of meaningful accountability with a substantial sentence.
I think the sentencing landed right in the middle of what people expected. I don't think anyone really expected him to get out, before Christmas, which is what they were saying. But I also don't think anyone really expected him to get 11 years either, because there's justice and then there's the public reaction. And you think back to major trials like this in the past, O.J. Simpson, R. Kelly, things, ones of that nature, and the public reaction can be strong. This seems right in the middle.
Much more than what the defense requested of 14 months. The judge also issued a fine of $500,000. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
Stick around. We have a story of gargantuan proportions. The mighty BC pumpkin way off and the people who grow them. That's next. Well, the weather is a bit cooler now and Halloween decorations are on store shelves. But before we talk about ghouls and ghosts, let's talk pumpkins of the giant variety. Back in 2017, former CBC reporter Deb Goebel caught up with competitive gourd growers as they prepared to weigh in. Let's take a look.
This is so exciting.
As his guests arrived early in the morning, Jeff Pelche was already in his North Vancouver garden.
He was shining up his pumpkin like it was his first car.
This, after all, is one of his greatest achievements.
This is my Atlantic giant pumpkin, and he's affectionately called Group.
After the giant in Harry Potter.
Look at the abs on that thing. She's a beauty.
Grop is well over 1,000 pounds, raised on good soil and good music.
He loves Shostakovich, I'll tell you that much.
For 100 days, the neighbors have watched the gourd grow, cheering him on every step of the way.
Except when the manure was brought in.
But today they celebrate. Grop is about to be snipped.
Here we go.
Jeff, don't cry.
Oh.
He's headed to BC's giant pumpkin competition.
When you come up off the ground, just stay about 2 inches so I can check everything.
Jeff does not let go.
This part's always very nerve-wracking.
After all, no one wants to see Grop go splat at this point. The operation from garden to crane to truck is a success. The lovely abs are not bruised.
Better now. Sweet. Perfect. Perfect.
And after a careful commute, Jeff and crew arrive in Langley for the official weigh-in.
That's it. Sweet.
The competition is known to be fierce.
He is the current BC record holder. That's Jake Van Kooten. He's a legend in the field.
Back in 2009, Jake Van Kooten grew a pumpkin weighing in at 1,536.5 pounds. His secret?
Good soil, good genetics, and good luck.
But who will win this year?
I like the white one the most.
Pretty doesn't count. Great Pumpkin Commonwealth is all about girth,
100,
and weight.
They have to be perfectly sound to be able to be weighed and compete.
Apparently, pumpkin people are perfectionists. After spending hundreds of hours nurturing his gourd, a small hole has been found in this one.
If it healed up by itself, then I can weigh it. If it doesn't heal up, then I'm disqualified.
Pumpkin growers are ruthless about this competition. In the end, Jeff came in second at 1,176 pounds, but pity his poor pumpkin. After all the love and glory, Grop, like all the other pumpkins, will finish out his days as pig slop after Halloween. Deborah Goebel, CBC News, Langley.
That's just a taste of things to come. Tomorrow is BC's annual Giant Pumpkin Weigh-Off at Krause Berry Farms in Langley. Here to talk to us a little bit more about that is farm owner Alf Krause. He has been running this farm for more than 50 years. Alf, talk to me a little bit about this year's gorgeous crop. I hear it's been a good year for most pumpkin crops, and how big are we talking here?
Well, that is always the surprise. What is it? What's the big one going to be? Because these pumpkin growers, I don't know, some of them are top secret, but we know that probably over 1,500 pounds, I'm estimating from the rumors, but some people make it a community event and their front yard has a giant pumpkin growing. Others are kind of more in a sheltered area, hidden, and we're excited to see what happens tomorrow.
Alf, what goes into the TLC and the growing of a giant gourd that big?
Well, we don't have time to do that on the farm.
But if you did have the time, what would it look like for someone who gets a pumpkin to that size?
Well, I would probably give it milk and honey.
A little bit of something sweet. So tell us what everyone can take in tomorrow on your farm. What is all happening, and why is this such a fun event to host?
Yeah, we're hosting the event. It's our, I think, 11 years we've hosted it for the Giant Pumpkin Weigh-Off. Starting around 8:30, 9 o'clock, all of a sudden these trucks come rolling in with pumpkins on the back, and we delicately take them off and lay them up. There'll be anywhere between 15 to 25 giant pumpkins, and some Cinderella would go into, others Cinderella would stare at, wondering, that's called a pumpkin. But anyway, it is a lot of fun.
And so people can come out, take photos. Do they get to smash the pumpkins at all, or?
There's no smashing.
Okay.
Those giant pumpkins, they want to save those seeds for other enthusiasts.
For the
who are
competition.
coming along the way. Yes. But
All
the
right.
farm is providing the venue. We've got our own pumpkin patch. We don't do the big corn maze, but we have a child barley maze. So if you're 3 feet and shorter, you can't see out of it, but at least mom and dad know you're safe.
Sounds like a lot of fun, Alf. Thanks so much for chatting with us today. That's Alf Kraus, owner of Kraus Berry Farms in Langley. Darius Madavi is back with a look at his BC-wide weather forecast. Darius, what can we expect for this weekend and that very fun event happening in Langley?
Looks like we're going to be getting some sunshine, especially later tomorrow afternoon, and then into into Sunday, and pretty much across the board, we've got sunshine on Sunday. Let's take a look here. Those temperatures not changing too much over the next couple days. We, on the coast here, might start to see temperatures climb inland once we get into early next week. Some places in the interior will start to see that as well. Some places hitting 20 once again, but no big temperature jumps here. The temperatures will probably moderate right around 20, maybe a couple degrees above for parts of the interior. And the rain is expected to stay away for at least into mid next week. Now, in terms of the fire danger, that is good news. We still have a moderate to high fire danger in parts of the southern interior and much more widespread up in the far north. Virtually no extreme fire danger, which is good, but there isn't really much chance of much precipitation up in these more northern sections of BC. We may see a brief shower overnight tonight that could turn into a flurry. I know I'm saying the F word. Some parts of the far north, like Fort Nelson, getting down to around +1 tonight. The northwest getting down to around -2 around Dease Lake. So again, those showers could very much turn into flurries, but would turn back into showers, and I wouldn't expect to see much, if anything, stick on the ground. But it is strange to say that we're getting into that time, although it is sweater weather again, Janella. Now, the other thing, sorry. Let's see if I can get this to progress the right way. The other thing I want to talk about was just I wanted to show you the rain and the time that it's going to be coming, but it doesn't want to show it. So let me tell you, very little rain. A little bit breaks into the northwest tomorrow. We may see a few showers pop up tomorrow morning in some parts of the southern half of the province. Parts of the north and central coast might get some more consistent showers that break into the central interior, but most of that is tapering off by the evening time, and then we're dry. Again, really, it's just the northwest that might see some of those more consistent showers coming in on Sunday. Everywhere else, dry and sunny. Almost everywhere in BC, which does not happen very often in October, seeing almost the entire province, except maybe around Dease Lake, being pretty sunny. Air quality is also much better than it has been in parts of the southern interior. Tomorrow morning, like I said, a bit of a drizzle, then we clear up through the afternoon, and then we have mainly sunny skies at least into midweek.
All right, Darius, don't go anywhere because guess what time it is? It's Fun Fact Friday, and we're keeping with the Halloween theme. Darius is here to tell us a little bit more about a new tactic spiders are using to lure more prey. Darius?
That's right. And hopefully these graphics will work better than the other ones. Now, let me put you into the frame that I want you in. We're going to pretend that we're a firefly, and we're just drifting through the night. We are maybe in a cloud forest in Peru. We're loving life, just flying. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves trapped in a web. This isn't just any web. This is the web of a sheet web spider. Now, you see other bugs trapped around you, and they get eaten almost immediately by the spider. But you, the spider, keeps alive, keeps hostage because of your flashing. And yes, I did make this graphic myself. Because of this flashing, as long as you keep flashing, you are luring in more prey. Researchers have tested this by just putting LED lights in a spider web and seeing that more prey came in. So the spider knows that if it doesn't eat you right now, but it eats you, an hour later, it's going to get more food out of it. And eat you, it will. There's no negotiating with the spider. You are a hostage that is going to get eaten no matter what. As soon as you stop flashing, which usually happens within an hour, you are Dunzo. So these scary guys, sheet web spiders, are going to eat you. That's not even the worst of it, though. There are spiders in China, orb weaver spiders, that will force fireflies to change their flashing pattern to attract more prey. And we don't even know how they do it.
Goodness, all about the scary fun facts today. Thanks so much, Darius.
Thank you.
Coming up, Jessica Chung takes us behind the scenes at Fright Night, and she gets a bit of a fright herself while taking a tour of a haunted house. You don't want to miss it.
As Halloween creeps closer, spooky events are starting to take shape. Tonight, Fright Nights in Playland kicks off.
Our Jessica Chung had a chance to check out one of this year's haunted houses while braving the monsters.
I'm right now inside Carnival, which is one of the highly anticipated haunted houses here at Fright Nights and Playland. We're getting early access to what people can expect if they come out to one of these nights. And yeah, I am going to be walking through this just to give you a sneak peek. I'm doing the brave thing here. I'm terrified, but we're just going to walk through it, okay?
Okay, all right, we're coming with you.
Do you think I can handle it? Okay, okay, I'm going. Okay, I guess I'm going. We're starting, I guess. Oh my God.
Okay, we can hear the cackling in the background.
We are starting on an awful foot. That thing just came came right out of the ceiling. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could go on. This is a little bit, I don't know. Okay, so now we're entering into a kind of a fluorescent area with a lot of splatters. I'm assuming fake blood, I hope. And oh my God, look at these. These are
okay, clowns
just beautiful.
Are always frightening.
Clowns. They're
are
always frightening. I mean, okay, that's good too. I'm just going to try to make light of this so that I'm not
scared they're going to jump out
going
at you.
a bit crazy. No, I'm a little bit nervous, but now we're going to head in. Oh my goodness, okay, great. Wow, I love this. Okay, and we're just, I think there's,
oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God, okay. So you know what, there are two actors here. They're absolutely amazing, but this is what's going to happen if you come into one of these haunted houses. I need to take a breath. I don't know if I can go on. Okay, we're just gonna walk, but they've been amazing. We met them, they were great, but not in that capacity where they're jumping out at us. But yes, there's gonna be a ton of actors, live performers here who are going to be frightening safely all of these people. A beautiful kind of statues and all of these kind of props that are they're so real, honestly. They're just absolutely amazing. And now we're gonna head right in here to another area where there's this guy and all of them. Oh my goodness, and they're just, okay, sorry. Oh my God. Okay. There is just a lot going on. My goodness, that guy just, I mean, he just grabbed my ankle. I don't even know how to react here anymore. And now we're gonna head here to another room.
As long as you keep it PG-13, Jess, you're good.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think we're at the end. I'm hearing 30 seconds in my head and I'm very happy about it. Okay, so this is just one of 7 haunted houses that are going to be here. If you want to come to Fright Nights at Playland, this is one of the ones that you can check out, but there are 6 other ones that are really great. All of it kicks off tonight and it will go on until October 31st. And so yes, if you want a good fright, Halloween fright, this is where you should come. Oh my goodness. We're all ready for you. Come out to Fright Nights if you want a good scare for Halloween.
Spooky.
I recognize those 2 actors. They scared me.
I remember
within
that.
a couple months of me starting here.
It was hilarious. He was so scared because horror is not his thing.
And I wasn't even in the haunted house. I was outside of it doing the weather.
I have to say, though, props to our camera guy, Nav, for keeping his composure while filming that.
All right, thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6.
I'll have your next local news after the National at 11 o'clock. Have a good night.